If you want my loving, if you really do, don't be afraid.
Nice.
Baby.
I'm 27, turning 28 this year. And these are some things I wish someone had told me and I'd actually listened to in my 20s, in my early 20s, when I was on my way up. And I've amassed a little bit of success in my 20s. I've used them pretty well. These are the things that helped me dominate and make the most of my 20s and become free in the way that I live my life and also enjoy my life. And if I'd listened to these things from the very start, from when I turned 20 years old, I'd be way further ahead than I am now. So I'm going to begin with number one. Everything you think matters far less than you could possibly think. I now live my life by a rule, and that rule is if it won't matter in 5 months, or I won't care about it in 5 years, there is no point worrying about it now. I remember when I was around 20 years old, I got a job in an estate agent's after I dropped out of university, and I really needed the job. And because of my misbehavior at the time, being a bit of a wild card, I was fired after 4 days. And I begged for this job back, man, from my boss, and he fired me. And I remember thinking it was the end of the fucking world, losing that job. It's just something that I really have never thought about again until this video. 7 years later, I've just never considered it. And there's so many little things in your life that seem important right now, but they really are not going to be important as you grow. And taking a lot of that pressure away from having to get everything right at 20 years old is a really nice feeling. It helps you be more relaxed. It helps you go with the flow. And I think when you go with the flow, you go after what you want, you realize there is no risk. Becoming successful in your 20s becomes a hell of a lot easier. Number two is alcohol. I was held back from 18 to 22 purely by my ability to drink so much, to think that the life of the party, chasing that party, chasing girls, was what a man should be doing in his early 20s. People had told me, don't drink and take drugs. Pretty much everyone's told that. The problem for me is I was never told that by someone that I respected. I was told it by people that were doing that stuff. I was told it by people that drink. Don't drink, by someone drinking. Don't take drugs, by someone who recreationally takes drugs. And right now I've been sober 120 days into 2026. It's one of the best periods of my life so far. And the first time I ever changed my life, the first time I ever left my 9 to 5, went after my dream of making content, 4 years ago when I left the dreary UK and I took a one-way ticket to Thailand, that all came about because I realized how much I disliked my 9 to 5 life when I stopped drinking alcohol for the first time. So as much as I've had fun, as much as I've gained crazy experiences and crazy memories from drinking alcohol, at the end of the day, the best periods of my life where I felt the most secure and proud of myself and gotten better as a man has come from sobriety and not drinking. So I'm not saying never drink again, but for anyone that hasn't done it before, especially lads in the UK, like you'll know what I'm talking about. Drinking is very ingrained in the culture. Do 90 days, do 180 days, do a year. Just see what happens to your life when you get rid of all that time spent hungover and you put it towards something where you actually have to build the life that you want to live. Number three, take the fucking risk and take it early. Life is only going to get harder. Life is only going to have more responsibility when you're in your early 20s, but fuck it, no matter what age you are, always take the risk. The life you want, the life I have now, all of that was on the other side of a risk that I was really fucking scared to take. And that fear has become my guidance signal for my entire life. When I feel fear, when I don't want to go and approach or talk to this girl, when I don't want to shake hands with this guy or go and meet somebody, if I don't want to go to a business meeting because I'm a bit lazy, if I don't want to launch this new thing or make a video, I know that's exactly what I need to be doing. I aim to live my life, and you should too, in your 20s, live your life outside of the comfort zone, in the fear zone. That's where you want to live your 20s. That's what makes a beautiful life in your 20s. Number four, you use your body. When you're young, you have energy and it's your greatest asset. I've started taking my training really seriously. I wish I'd started taking it more serious sooner. Like I've trained consistently my entire life since I was 14 years old, but I've only really started dialing in and taking my training serious now. And the gains I've made recently have changed the way people see me and respect me already. It's changed the amount of women that DM me on Instagram. It's changed the way people talk to me when I meet them in a business meeting. Your physique is one of the things that you can grow and you can craft as a young man with pretty much no money at all. And it's that first signal to the world that this is a guy that's a professional, that this is a guy that takes himself serious. If you guys want to listen to my audio only free podcast tapes, they're underneath this video. I have a video called Turning Pro. I would highly recommend you listen to it. You can listen to the series. One comes out every week. You're designed to do the steps in each series and go through and improve your life in 2026. So you can check that out if you want. But your body, train it every day. Get in the gym, dial your nutrition, dial your supplements, play sport, do martial arts. You're going to have to be able to protect yourself in your 20s. There is going to be times where you are tested. There's going to be times where a bully is essentially bullying you. This happens even when you're an adult. And normally all it takes is being able and confident in handling yourself. It doesn't usually take smashing somebody in the face. But if it needs to, then you've got the ability to not get absolutely destroyed. Nothing will kill your confidence more as a man by being beaten the shit out of in front of someone you care about. And this happened to me when I was 16. That's why I like martial arts. Why I took up martial arts when I was younger was because when I was 16, I came out of a pub. To be fair, it's probably my own fault. And kicked a guy's glass over, got beaten up by 3 guys pretty badly, super black and blue, and felt defenseless. And that was the first time I then went on to start boxing and doing MMA and various different martial arts. And if you just train 1 or 2 times a week, a little bit of sparring here and there, a private session or a group training session in boxing, Muay Thai, MMA, Jiu-Jitsu is great. But yeah, I would say you want a striking capacity as well. Choose one of those and train twice a week at it. It's as simple as that. You'd be better than 99% of men at fighting. And it's something that will give you confidence to diffuse arguments and handle yourself. And I think that's a real great skill to have in your 20s. Number 5, don't chase women. This is one of those unteachable lessons. I can tell you exactly how to make a girl fall in love with you, and you simply will not be able to do it, most of you, until you've gone through the heartbreak that hardens you a little bit as a man to have a little bit more control over your desire. I don't believe a man in his 20s should fall in love with a woman and fall head over heels in love and move in with her and listen to everything she says. Throughout your 20s, you should date. And that's fine to have a relationship. I'm not saying sleep around all the time, but have a relationship with a woman. Take it easy. Don't rush into things. Your timeline for your life, you've got to remember it's a long, long life that you're living. That timeline, people change. You're going to be a very different man when you're 30 to when you're 20 years old. That woman that started with you at 20 may not grow. She may. You may have children young, you may do that. Doesn't happen very often. And one of the biggest things I see destroy guys is that they kind of give all their masculinity, they give all their edge and all the control of their life to their girlfriend. And then they blame the girlfriend. It's not the girl's fault. They blame the girl for slowing them down in their 20s. The old ball and chain. You've been trained to think that way. I've had multiple relationships from when I was 16 years old, long-term relationships with girlfriends, to 27. And I've had some great times. And I would say I've fallen in love a few times. I've had my heart broken a few times. One of the things I always did was stood up for myself and my dreams and put the mission first. And that often led to the end of relationships for the purpose of me moving forwards and becoming a stronger man. None of those relationships have ended particularly badly, and they've all grown me as a person. One of the biggest things that holds men back is that they settle. They settle for a girl that they don't really love because they're scared they'll never meet somebody else. And the reason they're scared of that is because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to self-improve. But when you're a man that is focused on his training, focused on his business, making his money, becoming the best looking, most courageous, handsome version of himself, when you reach 27, the women that want to date you will be significantly better than the women that wanted to date you at 20. This is real life. Your 20-year-old that you're dating now at 20 years old is most likely looking at the guys ahead of you. She might not be, but most likely she is. She'll probably break your heart. Keep your head on straight. Remember the mission first. The mission over love. Without the mission, there is no love. A man's true purpose is to be masculine, to have his mission, the thing that he wants to go for. The reason the woman loves you is because you have that thing, because she is not the be-all and end-all of your life. She wants to feel your masculinity, the fact that you cannot be swayed by what she says. That doesn't mean that you treat her badly. There's a lot of toxic masculinity that want to treat and pump and dump girls. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is steadfast on your mission. Keep your frame as a man. And don't believe that the woman you're falling in love with now at 20 years old is going to be the woman that is the mother of your children or your wife. And I would focus on keeping your good friendships alive with brothers, seeing women but not taking it too seriously, and not moving in with a woman, either living on your own or living with your friends. Because this era from 20 to 30, this is where you want to build wealth, where you want to learn lessons, travel the world. Because then from 30 to 40, you can really have a great start. 30 to 40, you can be financially secure. You can be in the best shape of your life. And then at 30 years old, with plenty of experience dating and maybe some great relationships along the way, you're now ready for the woman who may be the mother of your children with the lessons that you've got and the financial backing to start a family and teach what you've learned to those children. That's how I'm seeing life at this point, but it's purely my opinion. You might hate me for saying it now. You'll have your heart ripped out and broken. It'll be the best thing that ever fucking happened to you if you use it in the right way. And you'll say, I get what Jack meant now. But until then, you probably won't understand. You'll probably still fall for the woman. I don't believe in falling in love. I believe in loving the woman that you're with very much. I don't believe in falling head over heels fairy tale love. I don't think that's positive for a man. I think you can love a woman with all your heart without falling in love, without losing your frame. And that creates a good relationship. That's a lot of what's been lost and what a lot of young men need education on. Number 6, a little bit more lighthearted. Don't buy tables in the club. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't think many of you guys will be. It's maybe fun occasionally on a birthday or splitting with some buddies, but do not get into the false economy of being the baller in the club, because it means fucking nothing. Being the guy in the club that's popping bottles, that's showing off, that's got the girls at the table, it's this fake show of bravado. It's this fake show of status. Of course you can turn up with your one paycheck for 10K and pop bottles in the club. That's not what makes a real man, and it took me a little while to understand that. What makes a real man is his ability to turn up for himself, for his friends, to stick to his word, to build something real and pure in this world, and to create. Popping bottles in the club and having hoes around is fairly irrelevant to all of that. Yes, it can be fun. Am I saying don't do it? No, do it a little bit. But don't go over the top, because it's an endless pit of money and you're buying into a game that you don't need to be playing. None of that really matters. What I would recommend you do that is high ROI, and probably one that people would disagree with, is buy the bike, the watch, or the car that you fucking want in your 20s. Because the life improvement you'll feel from it is worth it. The way it makes you walk or talk, and the way you feel about yourself, and the fun that you have on it, and the memories you make are worth it. Driving a sports car, or driving a fast bike, or driving a truck in your 20s and having a Rolex is something that I think is a great thing to do. Another reason, if you don't do that, let's say you spend bottles in the club and you go out, you order takeout, and you're ordering all these things, and you're kind of living a good life, going on a lot of vacations, things like that, it's better to just buy the cars, the bikes, and watches, because they have value. They hold their value. Cars maybe not so much, and they do lose a bit, but still, you can have a great car for a couple of years, and if you buy it, you're probably selling it for 75% of the value you bought it for. Never buy a brand new car out of the lot unless you're absolutely fucking balling out. That's another piece of advice. And the watches especially, they hold their value. So you can get all the enjoyment of having a nice timepiece. You can keep it on your wrist. I know in the UK you can buy a lot of them like 0% finance. You're just paying it off monthly. You've got a Rolex that's appreciating probably in value, rather than spending that money on a takeaway each month. I'm not advising you to do that, but I do think they're the better purchases to make with your money, rather than just spunking them on stupid shit. It will seriously improve your life, and also, as fickle as it is, it improves the way other people see you. When a young guy in his 20s walks up with a Rolex, or riding a nice bike, or driving a nice car, it changes the way that you're looked at in business. Number 7, winning is when you double down. I won fairly quickly. I had a lot of troubles from 18 to 22. And a lot of times I tried to start businesses and went bust, or had jobs and didn't make enough money, or was in debt. And I hustled really hard from 18 to 22. Just after 22 and being in Thailand, my YouTube channel took off, and I started my first businesses, started earning my first real money, over $10,000 a month consistently, and scaled it all the way up to over $100,000 a month. Now, one thing I would say to you is, when you win in your 20s, double down. Do not celebrate. I spent a long time thinking I've made it, I've won, There's times when I was doing $130,000, $140,000 a month when I was 24 years old. I had no coaching element. I was selling a program that was just a course, had a coach employed inside and a Discord, and sold a $500 program 2,000 times. I had a lot of money coming in. And rather than double down and improve my content in that time and invest in my life and really take things to the next level, I thought I'd completed the game and I took my foot off the gas. And although that hasn't been disastrous for me, it just means my channel is not as big as it could have been. And I went away from the thing I love doing, which is creating, giving advice, making films, actually making a difference in the world. And that's because I went down a little bit of that rabbit hole of thinking money was the only thing that makes you successful as a man, without realizing that it was the purpose I wanted all along. It's the purpose of turning up and doing something that you care about and getting better at it and improving your body and your mind. And it took me a little while to learn that. Hopefully you can learn that tip from me now. It's like when you win in your 20s, double it down, put it all back on and roll again. 30s to 40s, this is when maybe you start having a little bit more fun. Like when you really set up, like for me, I've got the goal, 10 million liquid in investments. That's winning for me. Before then, the work's not done. After that, you've got income coming in off investments that you could happily not work again for the rest of your life, probably even at 5 mil, but I want to keep it kind of high tier on the older lifestyle. Number 8, don't get caught in your 9 to 5 for too long. Your 9 to 5, there is nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. It's noble to work and have money coming in. And if you don't like it, that's fine as well. Be passionate about it, because what that 9 to 5 is going to do is it's going to fuel you and it's going to give you the money you need in order to launch into your own thing. And that's what you should be doing. You should cut the alcohol and entertainment out of your life in your 20s. And after that work period where you're collecting that cash, you're looking after it and you're saving it, you find a way to then save up enough money to go in and after the dream. I did this for the first time after reading Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. I would highly recommend every single one of you reads it. It's about building financial intelligence, saving your money, getting out of debt. And I read that and I saved up my 10K, and it was what allowed me to go to Thailand for the first time. And that ended up changing my life. And for the months before that, when I was doing my commission sales job, I was passionate about it. I was turning up, I was hitting gym, and I was passionate about it because it was funding the dream. But don't get stuck in that 9 to 5 for too long. The more risk you can take in your 20s, the more successful you'll become. And I guarantee you now, if you truly try your hardest, if you don't drink alcohol, and you can still go out with your friends and have a good time, but you don't drink and you come back and you work and you train hard, you will be successful in your 20s. You will be. It's a certainty, because nobody's fucking doing it. Nobody is fucking doing it. They say they are, they do it for 2 days, they do it for a month, and then they fall off and they go back to the comfortable life. If you can keep comfort at bay for your 20s, you will be an absolute savage in your 30s. And the time turns like quicker than you think. It's like yesterday I was 20 years old. Now I'm 27 and I'm still young as fuck. I feel like I've lived 4 fucking lifetimes. And it's been absolutely incredible, and I want the same for you. Okay, number 9, testosterone levels. Testosterone will have a direct impact on how successful you become and how good you feel with doing hard work like the gym or building your business. At 20 years old, you should get your levels checked and you should see where you're at. If you're anything under 800 nanogram per deciliter with good free testosterone levels, you want to start looking at enhancing that using natural methods. I did a video on this last, you can check it out, my natural testosterone stack. You should be doing 10,000 IU's vitamin D per day in my opinion, and 4 eggs before bed every night. Cholesterol in eggs is the precursor for testosterone. Just add those two if you don't already, you'll feel a massive difference in who you are as a man. Increasing my testosterone levels young and understanding them was something I did, and it changed my life. It gave me the ability to get on camera, to feel good talking to a camera, to feel confident enough to post, to want to go to the gym. And it's still what drives my life now. So that's something that you have to look into and get dialed as a young man that not too many people talk about. Number 10, always be ready. You think you're training for nothing. You think you can do it tomorrow. You think that there's no point, but there is. In your 20s, you're going to get given some golden opportunities. They are going to come out of the woodwork. And the guys that are ready, the guys that trained knowing that those opportunities were going to arise, that sharpened their skills, that honed their craft, that built their bodies, they're the ones that capitalize on it, and they're the guys that get the ticket out of there. They get the golden ticket. This happened to me. When I was in Thailand, I met a guy called Hamza, who makes YouTube videos as well. I was in good enough shape, and I had already started building my personal brand. I was interesting enough of a person for Hamza to think this is a cool guy to be around, and he put me in some of his videos. It was my golden ticket to blowing up the start of my YouTube channel. And I really appreciate that. And that's done from hard work, believing that the opportunity is going to come. You may not know how you're going to do it yet. You know what you want, you don't know how. So you're going to train every day and make sure you're fucking ready. When that camera panned on to me, I was the man I wanted to be. I was the man I wanted to show the world. And that's important. You're always training for something because your opportunity is going to arise. Maybe sooner than you think. And you better be fucking ready for it. Also on that note, you are closer than you think. When everything feels like your life is falling apart, like the good habits maybe aren't working, like it's not worth it, I want you to remember that you are closer than you think. That life starts to feel like it's falling apart just before you get the big breakthrough. And it's the final test, and you need to fight through it. You also need to remember and say to yourself that there is nothing else to do, so take the pressure away. There's nothing else to do with your time. A man's life is improving himself, building his life. That's all you've got. What are you going back to if you give up on the dream now? You've got from now until you die to make the dream a reality. That's a long time, and all you need to do is improve 1% a day. That's all you need to do. So stop feeling so rushed. Stop feeling like it all needs to be done now, and just enjoy the process on a daily basis. Turn up for yourself and enjoy becoming the man you want to become, no matter how long it takes, because there really is nothing else. The only other life that you can join if you don't go after that dream is a life of comfort, a life of sedation, and a life of mediocrity. And I don't think that's good enough for you, because you watch my videos, which means you are, somewhere deep down, a savage, the same as me. And my final tip is I genuinely think you probably have something pretty cool to say to the world, and you probably have a story to tell if you go after your dreams. No matter what you're building, no matter what industry, no matter how you're training, post that shit on social media. It can seriously change your life. I would recommend you do one reel a day, just talking to the camera, and get used to it. And let go of all the fear that other people are going to judge you, because it really is irrelevant. One day we're all going to die. One day you're going to lay in a bed and you're about to die, and you're going to realize that every risk you didn't take was pointless, because in the end we all end up in the same place. You got to draw every drop of inspiration, every drop of life that you can out of this world. And that is done by operating from a place of confidence and abundance, and not worrying about fear, because in the end, it all ends. And it's just how you lived your life that makes you proud. So take out the camera and post that video. Talk about your passion. Be the person you truly are on the inside. Because trying to be anything else is just fooling yourself and fooling nobody else. Be authentic. Go after your dream. That's what we're here to do. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you on the next one, brother. Wow!